Monday Night Net for the first day of March 2021. I'm standing in for Ron, BE1BBB, who is unavailable this evening. This net meets every Monday evening at 2000 hours, and this is a social net, so please direct all traffic through the net controller. All amateurs are welcome and encouraged to check in. A few reminders. The club website is www.westcumb.ca, and the newly resurrected Maritime Amateur is www.maritimeamateur.ca. The weekly Fusion Net is on Wednesday evening at 1900 hours. Everyone who is C4FM capable is welcome. The next WARC meeting for our March is scheduled for tomorrow evening at 1930 hours. That's the March WARC meeting for tomorrow evening at 1930. COVID-19 persists, thus, and for the foreseeable future, the WARC meetings will continue to be conducted online via Google Meet. I have a silent key this evening. This silent key observance was read on the Wake Up Net this morning, and I've been asked, in the interest of those who may have missed it, to read it again this evening and include our moment of silence. For general interest, this WARC Monday night net will be live streamed so that it may be heard by family and friends. The website is as follows: www.youtube.com. That's www.youtube.com/ROBBE1RMJ. I'll repeat that, www.youtube.com/ and I spell phonetically Romeo Oscar Bravo Victor Echo 1 Romeo Mike Juliet. It's all in lowercase and no spaces. Now I shall read the morning's paper. Once again, it is my sad duty to report yet another silent key. I think we better pause for reset. Please stand by. Our amateur radio brother, Richard Walton Sullivan, known to all as Rick, Victor Echo 9 Romeo Whiskey Sierra, passed away last Thursday, the 25th day of February. Rick held his amateur radio license for over 35 years, but in recent times had a number of health issues and thus had to reluctantly give up radio when he moved into a healthcare facility. Prior to that, he was almost always available on air and eager to help other amateurs whenever help was needed. He rarely missed a check-in on the morning wake-up net, but perhaps his most notable achievement was hosting of the WARC Monday evening net, which he operated for over 25 years. In his early days with this amateur radio world, he did a lot of climbing for installation and maintenance tasks. Along with being trained and experienced, he must have been fearless, as some of these towers were 200 feet high and more. I shall pause for reset. Please stand by and please maintain radio silence. My first introduction to Rick was in 2008 when he was one of the two members who administered the test for my radio license. During the ensuing years, until his retirement from radio, Rick and I encountered one another on many occasions, at club meetings, at brunches, and at various other club events, and of course, countless times on VHF. Every moment of these encounters was a pleasure. Rick was a founding member of the WARC and was also a member of the Tri-County ARC in Moncton. Rick was also very active in his church and in his community, and was fondly known at children's Christmas parties as Santa with the real beard. His obituary is a fitting tribute to a fine gentleman. I know that Rick will be greatly missed by family and friends. Please observe a moment of silence in memory of Rick Sullivan, Victor Echo 9, Romeo Whiskey Sierra. Now a silent key. Vaya con Dios, Rick. Thank you all for that observance, and we'll go back to the net now. In recognition of the value of Rick's contribution to amateur radio and to the WARC, I will dedicate this evening's net to the memory of our late member. Perhaps we will henceforth recall the 1st of March 2021 Monday night net as the Rick Sullivan night. Once again, my call sign is Victor Echo 1 Delta Romeo. My name is Bob. My location is Pugwash Junction, Nova Scotia. At this time, I will call Brad, VU1 Zulu X-Ray, who worked closely with Rick for many years on many projects, and see what comments Brad may have to offer. VU1 ZX, this is VU1 Delta Romeo.
V1 Delta Romeo, V1 Zulu X-Ray. Name here is Brad Baker Romeo Alpha Delta. And Bob, thanks for that eulogy. And I can recall some stuff we used to do for the Cumberland County amateurs here. One I can remember, well, two or three I can remember. Rick, he was like a brother. We go way back, quite a few number of years, but I can recall a few things we did around the Cumberland County. As you know, the Cumberland County is well covered with repeaters. I believe there's around 12 repeaters in the Cumberland County area. And Rick was involved with every one of them. Installation, mostly antenna work. I can remember one particular time we was putting the Lynn Mountain repeater up, the Spring Hill repeater. And there were several of us up there, Mike Johnson, Kenny McCormick, Rick Sullivan, and myself. We changed the repeater out from the town of Spring Hill over to the Lynn Mountain site. The tower was around 240 feet. And we all went up the tower to install the antennas and stuff, and lo and behold, we forgot the solder line. So guess who went down the 240 feet and back up? He was a great climber, Rick was. Recall another time we were installing the solar repeater at the Parsville site here, and Rick did most of the work there. Myself and him, we installed a tower up there at on the top of the hill there, a 50-foot tower, and it was all done by hand. We lugged the cement up, we lugged the gravel up, we mixed the base with a wheelbarrow and installed all the antennas on the site, and that was back in the 90s. So we go way back there. I recall another installation we did at the Lorne site, B1BXK. We put his tower up, 65-foot tower, and of course one of the antennas had to be changed at the top. And there was a rotor inside the tower there, so I figured we'd have to take that out. The boom went up above the tower about 12 feet, and the antenna was on the top of it. And he said, "Oh no, we ain't going to take that rotor and stuff out. I'm going to climb that 12-foot, inch-and-a-half stainless steel pipe," and it was an older pipe. I got it when I was working at the salt plant there. They chucked it out, so you can imagine the shape that was in. So I told him to hold on a minute, and he said, "What for?" I said, "I'm going down off this tower before you go up that inch-and-a-half pipe." But couldn't talk him out of it. Up top of that pipe was bending over 2 to 3 feet, one way or the other. He took that antenna down and put the new one up there. And I was standing on the ground watching him there high. Lots of more installations he did for the club, and a lot of antennas he put up for the club members there, Bob. And I can name quite a few more installations he did there too. The Summerside water tank, we went over there a couple of times and put some antennas up there. And Glen Valley, he did quite a bit of work over in Glen Valley there too. So he did a lot of antenna work, a lot of climbing for the club there, and he just loved it. That's about it, Bob. Again, thanks for that eulogy, and thanks for checking me in. V1 Delta Romeo, V1 Zulu X-ray.
VU1 Zulu X-ray, VU1 Delta Romeo. Thank you for that contribution, Brad. It was very interesting. I do appreciate it very much, and thanks for the check-in. Brad's remarks may set the tone for responses this evening, so if you have similar anecdotes of experience with Rick, this would be a good time to share them. I'll now invite anyone who needs to leave early to check in now. Looking for short timers first, please.
Victor Yankee 2 Golf Foxtrot.
Victor Echo 9 Papa Kilo Victor.
Victor Echo 9 Golf Uniform Sierra.
Victor Echo 9 Whiskey India November.
Ourselves here, VY2 Golf Fox. Good evening, George. VU1 Delta Romeo.
Evening, Bob. That was quite the story I just heard there. Anyway, just looking at the wind here, I'm going to get the beam turned around so that it's the wind has minimal effect on it. We're looking at 35-knot winds over here in the island tonight. So hope everybody has a good evening, and we'll certainly look forward to the net tomorrow morning and next week. Victor Yankee 2 Golf Foxtrot.
VY2 Golf Fox, VU1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, George. Appreciate your check-in this evening. VE9 PKB. Good evening, Praveen. VU1 Delta Romeo.
VE1 Delta Romeo, this is Victor Echo 9 Papa Kilo Victor. I heard with great interest what VE1 ZX Brad had to say about the many towers that Rick put up, and I thought I'd give you a small one of my own. I joined the radio club about 10 years ago after I'd retired at Mount A, and I bought a small radio, and Rick found out that the town was moving its antenna from, it was moving its fire station from the old fire station to the new one, and the antenna was up for sale. So he helped me get the antenna, then he brought it to my home, then he helped me put up, and that's the one antenna that I used for a long time before I brought myself into the inside and have a 5/8 small magnetic mount one that I'm using right now. But he was a great friend, a great person, and wonderful to have had him, and I have the best of, wishes for him and his family. 73 to all.
VE9, PKV, VU1DR. Thank you, Vivian. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the story. And it is typical of my understanding of Rick. He was helpful whenever he was needed, and he had lots of expertise to share with everyone. Thank you, sir, and good evening. VE9, GUS, VU1 Delta Romeo. I don't have you on the list, sir. I appreciate your first name, if you please. Victor Echo 9, Golf Uniform Sierra. This is VU1 Delta Romeo.
Victor Echo 1, Delta Romeo, Bob. Good evening to you, sir. This is VE9 GUS, and my name is Gus, the same as my call. My QTH is Moncton. This is my first time checking in with your net. Sorry that there's a silent key tonight, but I guess I didn't know this gentleman, but I can only offer condolences to the family. And 7-3 to everyone on frequency, and have yourself a pleasant and safe week. VE9 GUS, clear, and thanks for calling me in, Bob.
VE9 GUS, VU1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Gus. Appreciate it, and I certainly will add you to my list after the net. And look forward to your checking in with us whenever you have an opportunity. This is VU1 Delta Romeo inviting some more calls for the Monday Night Net. Come now.
E1 Kilo Whiskey.
Victor Echo 9, Golf Charlie.
Victor Echo 9, Mike Tango, Victor
November.
Victor Echo 9, Alpha Delta Victor.
Victor Echo 1, Juliet Bravo Lima.
Victor Echo 9, Whiskey India November.
VY2 Kilo Whiskey. Good evening. All right, I'm having brain problems this evening. Go ahead, sir. VU1 Delta Romeo.
VU1 Delta Romeo, VY2 KW. Good evening there, Bob. Stoll here. Yeah, good evening everybody else on frequency this evening. Once again there, Bob, I enjoyed, I think you did a very good job of that eulogy for Rick, VE9 Romeo Whiskey Sierra. And to Brad, great stories. I was actually quite interested in those stories you told about Rick and you and your excursions out there together. It sounds to me like he was one heck of a great guy to know, that's for sure. And one of those guys that would help out anybody. Those are the ones that are hardest to say goodbye to, and you know, for sure, and the hardest to forget. That's for darn sure. What I wanted to say was thank you to you both for doing such a wonderful job of sending a remembrance, and I just want to wish condolences to the friends and family of Rick. We got +1 here in Mermaid, EI, and a little bit of wind, nothing too serious, but just going to sit around here and listen to the net for a little while, and hopefully the net runs very well. So we'll say 7-3 for now. Everybody have yourselves a great evening and a great safe week. The E1 Delta Romeo and the Westcumb net, VY2KW, 7-3, Bob.
VY2KW, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate your check-in. And, yeah, we lost a great member. I think we all feel that common loss. You have a great night, and we'll likely hear from you in the morning. VE9 Golf Charlie. Good evening, Gordon. VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1DR with the net, VE9GC. Good evening, Bob, and all on frequency. Gordon here in Notre Dame, and that was a very nice eulogy. Rick was certainly what I would refer to as a ham's ham. Met him years ago. Obviously, no contact recently, but you know, the stories that I listened to tonight just brought a smile to my face and everything else. So I'd like to offer my condolences to his family and numerous friends in the ham community. No particular traffic, snowing here in Notre Dame, just about the freezing mark, but we'll see what happens overnight. Back to you there, Bob. Thank you for doing the net, and thank you for calling me in. VE1DR, VE9GC.
VE9GC, VE1 Delta Romeo. Good evening, George. You have a great night, and we'll hear from you in the morning. VY2 SPD. Good evening, all. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Good evening, sir. VE1 Delta Romeo. This is Victor Yankee 2, Sierra Papa Delta. Yep. Just want to say condolence to our Silent Q members there. It's very hard to find those kind of guys helping hands without anything being in return, right? Yeah. Just want to say condolence and have a good evening and see you. This is Victor Yankee 2, Sierra Papa Delta. Back to Sir VE1 Delta Romeo.
Right to SPD, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your check-in. You have a great night. VE9 ADV. Good evening, JP. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Victor Echo 1 Delta Romeo. This is Victor Echo 9 Alpha Delta Victor. JP here in Dieppe. Yeah, it's snowing here. Really, really wet outside. It's plus 0.7 degrees out there. And don't know if we're going to get any snow or it's really, really wet. And hopefully if this freezes, it's going to make a mess in the morning, and it's guaranteed. A few words about Rick. When I first got licensed as a ham a couple of years ago, I walked into work and I was telling a few of my friends around the water cooler that I had got my ham radio license for qualification. It's called here in Canada. And everybody got around saying, "Well, you must did you run into Rick Sullivan? No, he used to work here. He retired in the early '90s, and so on and so forth." So I never got to know Rick, but everybody seemed to be really fond of him. Anyways, so sincere condolences to family, friends, and any acquaintance that he's touched over the years. Other than that, we're going to bear through this mess here following tonight, Robert, and hopefully we come out of it at the other end without too much of a mess here. Have a good week, everyone. From Victor Echo 9 Alpha Delta Victor.
VE9 ADB, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, JP. Appreciate it. Yes, Rick was an easy person to like. There's no doubt about that. From our first meeting, I look forward to speaking with him at every opportunity. VE1 JBL, VE1 Delta Romeo. Good evening, Jim.
VE1 DR in the Westcumb Net, VE1 JBL. Yeah, very good evening, Bob, and all on frequency. Now, bear with me here because I have a couple stories I want to share here. Of course, one of the things that Rick liked to do was talking with people, and in every flea market you went to, Rick was there, and he knew so many people. It was just a flurry of people that he would talk to at all these flea markets. So he knew everybody. Another thing is, I'm just thinking about when we took our tests, when we took our license back in '95, there was 23 in the class there, and he was one of the examiners. So he helped us to get on the air there with the exam that time. There's a video on the Westcumb Amateur website there. There's a video of a field day that we had. I can't think of the date here right offhand, but it was up on Beach Hill, and he used to get us access to Beach Hill for field day each year. He had the inside track on getting up there, and on the video when we're raising the tower on the video, he's very jokingly looking at the angle of the tower, and you will actually see him having a really fun time there, looking at the angle of the tower here, and you'll see that on the video if you look at that video there. And finally, on the pictures that you see on the website, of course, one of them is him getting his lifetime award to the Westcumb Amateur Radio Club. Another one is him getting the 20-year round of applause. He was very surprised about that night. He was very surprised about that. There was a cake there that night also, and he was very happy to get that. He was very surprised. And of course, the last picture, the one my favorite is his last net. You'll see him on the radio on his last net, and he invited me over. He knew he couldn't write because of his Parkinson's, so he called me, invited me over to write down the names while he did the net. So I was very honored to do that for him. So he was a great guy. That's it from here, Bob. Have yourself a great net there. We'll be listening along. VE1DR in the Westcumb net, VE1JBL, Jim Tignish 73.
VE1GBL, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Jim, and great stories, and very typical, of course, of Rick, as I knew him, and I think as everybody knew him. Thank you, sir. You have a great night, and we'll possibly hear from you in the morning. This is VE1 Delta Romeo, Bob in Pugwash Junction, and we're looking for some more check-ins. Come now.
E1 Kilo Whiskey.
Victor.
Go Alpha.
Victor Echo 1, Bravo Sierra Delta.
9, Lima Echo November.
Okay.
Victor Echo 9, Papa Alpha Lima.
A couple out of it, and the rest will have to sort themselves out. I'll take VE1 Bravo Sierra Delta, VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1 Delta Romeo from Victor Echo 1, Bravo Sierra Delta. It's Brian in Amherst, and my condolences to Rick's family and the rest of them. And I'm quite honored to have purchased one of his old radios. I have a Hammerland HQ 180, beautiful rig, and a beautiful receiver. I'm so pleased to have got it, and nothing much else here. The temperature, it's getting slushy here. There's snow, half slushy snow on the ground. And back to you, Victor Echo 1, Bravo Sierra Delta.
VE1 BSD, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate your check-in. You have a great night. I just had a look out my window here. I don't see any precipitation in Pugwash Junction. My temperature is 3 on the plus side. Quite amazing. Best of any threes. VE1 Lima Echo November. I don't have you on my list here, LEN, but perhaps you give me your first name and I'll log you in after the net. This is VE1 Delta Romeo.
Yeah, Victor Echo 9, V1 Delta Romeo. Bob, good evening to you, and this is Victor Echo 9, Lima Echo November, and the name is Len, and we're located in Shediac, New Brunswick. Knew Rick quite a bit because he used to work for the hydro, and I worked in the electrical too, and anyway, he used to come here to the Shediac Flea Market, and I had a chat, and we used to check in the nets there. He used to run there at one time when I was active, and then I was off the air for almost 15 years. So I'm back on now. So it's been a few years that I'm back on the air. So yeah, it's a big loss for sure, and condolences to the family for sure. Here in Shediac at the moment, it's minus 0.1. And we're having snow at the moment. It's been snowing now for good hours for sure. So it's not heavy, but it's wet snow. But it's coming down lightly there. So anyway, outside of that, not too much else to report from here. So back to you there, Bob, and thanks for calling me. And Victor 9, Lima Echo November, we're clear.
E9 LEN, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Lynn. I do have you on my list here. When I got on the right list, I picked you up as a VE1, but obviously I was on the wrong list. Thank you, sir. You have a great night. Now, there were 2 or possibly 3 covered up in that little pile up there, so we'll try to sort them out. Come now.
Victor Echo 1, Alpha Sierra.
Victor Echo 9, Papa Alpha Lima.
Victor Echo 9, Mike Tango, Victor.
Alrighty, we'll hold her here. We're still getting pile-ups. I got a Victor Echo 1, a whiskey something. Give me that call again, please. India November there, Bob. VE1 WIN. Alpha Sierra. Good evening, Terry. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Morning, Bob, or evening, Bob. I'm used to saying good morning to you. It's been a crazy day. I guess we're expecting a little bit of rain and maybe snow flurries sometime during the night. And just wanted to say thank you very much for looking after the net. I will be doing the net next Monday night. So just getting tuned up for that, and I hope you get a good check-in number. With that, back to net.
VE1 Alpha Sierra, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, I don't think we'll have a big count tonight because we had a lot of business to take care of. Not business. We had a lot of very pleasant issues to take care of. Thank you, sir. You have a good night, and we will hear from you in the morning, no doubt. VE9 PAL. Good evening, Paul. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Yeah, V1 Delta Romeo, this V9 PAL. How you doing there, Bob, and everybody on the net, and Mike coming up there? Yeah, my condolences to the family and friends there. I mean, it's sad, but part of life. It's just things happen, and we all got to face it someday. But anyway, down here in Irishtown, it's +1. It's flurries out there. I don't know how much of that we're going to get, but I don't think it's going to be much. But anyway, other than that, no traffic here. You guys all take care and have a safe week. V9 PAL.
VE9 PAL, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. And yes, I guess we do all have to face it. But when someone told me I couldn't take it with me, I decided I wasn't going. So I'll leave you with that little thought tonight, Paul. VE1 Whiskey India November. Good evening, Peter. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Bob, good evening all. Very sorry to hear about Rick, but I guess he's been sick for a while with Parkinson's and stuff. But very not a good thing to hear. But like Paul was saying there, that's part of life, I guess. So condolences to the family, and with that, Bob, I'll turn it back over to you. And just wondering when the next club meeting is. I think it's coming up this week, if I'm not mistaken. Back to you, Bob.
VE1 Whiskey India November, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Peter. Yes, the March club meeting is tomorrow evening at 19:30 hours. And it's online, of course, or virtual, I guess, on Google Meet, as it has been for a few months now. You have a great night, Peter, and we will hear from you in the morning, no doubt. Alrighty, this is VE1 Delta Romeo live in Pugwash Junction on the Monday night WARC net for the first day of March, and we are looking for more callers.
VE1 Kilo Whiskey.
Victor Echo Alpha.
Victor Echo 9, Juliet, Charlie Tango.
We're having a bad time with pile-ups tonight here. Got a Victor Echo 9 out of that. Give me that call again, please. It might have been MKV.
Victor Echo 9, Victor Echo Alpha.
Victor Echo 9, Mike Tango, Victor.
Okay, we'll hold her here. I have BY2 KW. Good evening, sir. VE1 Delta Romeo.
I think that was probably me, VE1 Kilo Whiskey, Bob. VY2 KW checked in, I don't know, about 10 minutes ago or so. Anyway, yeah, and you can check off actually VE1YHK, who's in the background here, listening in on everything and riding shotgun, so to speak. And actually, Kay and I drank a toast to Rick's memory tonight. He was a good man, and gosh, when I think back, he was a driving force for the club, you know, through all the years. But back in the very beginning, he was a driving force for the establishment of the club. back in the beginning. I remember when Rick and Lee Nolan would get together and talk about forming the club and what would have to be done. And anyway, those are all good memories for a fine gentleman. And things, no news from the shack here. Everything's quiet, which it mostly is with COVID-19 these days. There's a lot of quietness and a lot of frustration as well. Anyway, that's it for now, Bob. Back to VE1DR and the Westcumb net from VE1 Kilo Whiskey Jerry in Sackville.
VE1 Kilo Whiskey Jerry in Sackville, and good evening to Catherine with a K. And thanks, BY2KW. I mistook that, and he advised me that it was probably BU1KW, and he was absolutely right. Thank you, Jerry, and you have a great night. VE9, VEA, good evening, Vern. VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1 Delta Romeo, net control. Good evening, Bob. Good evening to all on frequency. Well, we were a little late getting in, connected up there tonight, and we've had a heck of a job to get called in there because I think my voice was cracking up on me here. I also think I had some talcum powder or baby powder, whatever it is here, got on the mic here today, and I think that blocked up the mic hole. I took my finger here after the last time I tried to get in, and I cleaned off the holes, rubbing my thumb over the mic holes, and this time it worked. So I think the mic holes got plugged up accidentally by some powder that got accidentally on it today somehow. Haven't got a clue how the powder got on the mic, but the other keys got powder all around them too. Don't know whether I was trying to soften the mic up or what. Anyhow, Bob, it sounds like the ham radio community of Nova Scotia there, for sure, in the Amherst area, has lost a mountain of a man, and a great ham for sure by the sounds of it. I never knew Rick, but it's a sad thing to hear of a silent key for sure. Whether you know him or you don't know him.
This is
You know everybody if you're a ham because you hear him on the air, watch you hear him and everything. Well, it's just like one big family. So my sincere, heartfelt, deep-felt condolences goes out to Rick's family and all his enormous list of ham friends there for sure. So we finally got in with you there, Bob, and to give you a mark on the board. Outside of that, we'll wish everybody good evening and a great wake-up call tomorrow. 7 trees to all, 80s to ladies, a special good evening to the scanner and the shortwave listener, and we'll turn it back to you. VE1 Delta Romeo, net control, VE9 Victor Echo Alpha, Vern in northeast of Boswick, Tracadie, Shiloh. 730 around 730's Bob, thanks for doing the net and calling us in. Bye-bye.
VE9 VEA, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Vern. Appreciate your check-in and appreciate your comments. VE9, Mike Tango Victor. Good evening, Mike. I didn't pick you out of that mess there. It put a little pile up there, but good for now. Go ahead. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Yeah, Victor Echo 1 DR with the West Cumberland net, or the V9 RW SNet, I could call that. Yeah, very good, Bob. V9 MTV here, Mike in Irishtown. And my condolences goes out to Rick's family and friends. I knew Rick way back in the early 90s, and actually sold Rick my portable radio, the Yaesu FT470 dual band, and I bought I think a FT50 back then,
And anyways, yeah, Rick, I remember talked to my dad there, Omer, behind TV, and he said that Brad and Rick used to visit him often there in Shediac. So we knew Rick pretty well. Every time we came back from the flea market there in Halifax, we used to drop in, have a coffee, and go on our way after that. But we used to like Rick's company, and actually I think I was probably checking in the nets when Rick started the net there in Sagsville there for the Westcumb or the Hammers net or whatever it was called back then. But I'm pretty sure it was Rick that was started the whole thing there. He was net controller for some of those nets for sure. I remember checking in there way back then. Anyway, have a good net. Yeah, I've been trying 3 or 4 times. Everybody got walked over every time, but that's okay. That's the nature of the beast, I guess. Anyway, Bob, have a good net, and we shall remember Rick for sure. He was a really good guy. 7-3. Stay safe, everybody. VE1DR, VE9MTV.
VE9MTV, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Mike. Yes, Rick will be hard to forget, and that's a proper thing. You have a great night, and we'll hear from you in the morning as well. Now, well, at the risk of getting another pile up, I'm going to invite some more callers for the Monday night net. Come now.
Victor Echo 9, Juliet, Charlie Tango.
Yeah, Barry.
Victor Echo 1, Romeo, Mike, Juliet.
Okay, we're going to hold it here. Only pick 2 out of that, VE9 JCT and VE1 RMJ. There was a double there between them. Try again, please, on those 2 calls.
VE1, Victor Echo 1, Tango, Romeo, India, Barry, Grand Lake.
Victor Echo 1, Romeo, Victor.
We'll hold it right there. We've got 5 in the list there. VE9 JCT. Good evening, Jean-Claude. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Yeah, good evening to you, Bob, and good evening to all on this special net tonight. Yeah, and I only have good memories of Rick. Talked to him many times, especially on this net on Monday night, and met him many times also here in Shediac. And yeah, it's an honor to check in this net in memory of Rick, VE1 RWS. Very good. 7-3 to all, and back to you, Bob. Victor 9, Juliet, Charlie Tango, and I'm in Shediac, New Brunswick.
VE9 JCT, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Jean-Claude. From Shediac, New Brunswick. Thank you for checking in, and I hope to hear from you in the morning. VE1 Tango India Alpha. May not have that right, but correct me if I'm wrong. This is VE1 Delta Romeo.
E1 Tango Romeo India, TRI.
It would be the very one. VE1 TRI, VE1 Delta Romeo. Go ahead, sir.
Sure. VE1 Delta Romeo. Good evening, Bob. It's Barry here in Grand Lake. Just wanted to check in and to give my kind regards to everybody on frequency and to reminisce a little bit. I used to check in very often on the Westcumb Monday night net when Rick was handling it. And on one of my many numerous visits to trips to Montreal and Moncton, I was asking him where his antennas were, and he told me. And on one occasion, I did stop in, and he gave me a big tour of his antenna farm and met his wife there.
Also, he always was receiving people very well at Patterson's restaurant during the Saturday Westcumb breakfasts, and I was always delivering information from HARC, the Halifax Club. There's others also. One time was a tour of RCI that he encouraged people to take, because he was a linesman and told me all about the amount of power that RCI site used. Silver Lake Triathlon even. I won't keep it, but many, many memories of Rick. And best 73 to everybody on frequency. VE1 Delta Romeo, VE1 Tango Romeo India, 73.
VE1 TRI, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Barry. Sorry, I kind of fouled up your call sign there. I'll blame it on my pen. Yes, there was a lot of good comments, very welcome comments about Rick tonight, and I don't think there's anything that can be bad said about him, not from my perspective anyway. Best 73s. VE1 RMJ. Good evening, Robert. VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1 Delta Romeo, VE1 RMJ. Well, good evening, Bob, and good evening to all those on frequency, and I guess my condolences to Rick's family and friends. It's really nice hearing all the great stories and comments. I've only been a ham for a few years, so I was only able to really see Rick, a few times there in the meetings, and he was always a really great guy, and he said my condolences. I won't hold it. It's a really busy net, so back to you, Bob. VE1 Delta Romeo, VE1 RMJ.
VE1 RMJ, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate your check-in, and you have a great night. VE1 Zulu Bravo. Good evening, Mike. VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1 Delta Romeo, VE1 Zulu Bravo. Good evening, Bob. Good evening, everybody on frequency. Greetings from rainy Oxford. And I met Rick back in 2005. I showed up at a radio club meeting there one night, and he was one of the first people I met, him and Brad, and they certainly guided me through my early ventures, and still guiding me. I guess I learned a lot from them, and in proper operating procedures and etiquette and so on like that. And I also was the beneficiary of a tour of the VE9 RWS antenna farm and a visit to a shack several times. And a few years back, somebody discovered on Google Street View, when they were going by his place on the Trans-Canada, taking their pictures, there was a picture there of his tower and Rick at the top of the tower. So we all thought that was pretty interesting at the time. So anyway, so with that, I'll pass along my condolences to Rick's family and friends, and I'll say 73, VE1 Zulu Bravo.
VE1 Zulu Bravo, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your check-in. Yes, I heard several mentions of that antenna farm, and I intended to speak of that myself. Countless times on the way to Moncton or the way back, I drove by that area and viewed that antenna farm from the Trans-Canada, and I said, one of these days I have to go in there and visit with Rick. And I never got done. Unfortunately, I put it off too long. It was impressive, there's no doubt about it. You have a great night, Mike, and a great day tomorrow and a great week. VE1 Romeo Victor, it would be Roger, I believe. VE1 Delta Romeo.
It certainly would. Good evening, Bob. VE1 RV here. And good evening to everybody on here. I've been listening to a lot of nice old calls that I know going by here, so things are great. Won't touch too hard on my old buddy Rick. I knew Rick for so long. I knew him in the CB days also, Bob. I used to run the 18-wheeler and go by him and toot my horn, and he'd meet me on the Truckers Channel, and we'd have a short talk while I went up the hill. And then on ham radio in the 80s, did the same thing, and he'd meet me on 5.2. So And we bought coaxes, we traded antennas, we did a lot of stuff. I miss the guy. All the comments said about him are true, very true. There's only one thing though, I don't think this in a bad way, but the way he was living at the very last of it with that problem he had, I'm glad he's where he is today. He's in a great place. He didn't deserve to have a later life that way and suffering the way he did. So I'm glad to see that now he's with his own there. So with that, I'll leave it alone. We've been all talking a lot about Rick, so, and we should, I suppose. Thank you for calling me in, and I shall back it on out like I came in. 7-3, Bob, and thank you. V1DR, V1RV.
V1RV, V1 Delta Romeo. Yes, I guess perhaps that's one way to look at it from perhaps a spiritual point of view. He's with his dear wife, Vivian, and hopefully they'll spend a very happy eternity together, depending, of course, on what we believe. Thank you, Roger. Long time no speak. This is V1 Delta Romeo. We're looking for some more calls. Come now.
V1 Zulu Sierra.
Victor Echo 9, Delta Whiskey Juliet.
Victor Echo 1, Charlie Delta.
Ready? We'll hold it with 3. V1HUL. Good morning, Dave. Good morning. Good evening, Dave. V1 Delta Romeo.
Good evening, Bob, and all those on the net. No, not quite morning, Bob, but hard habits, old habits are hard to die, I guess. Anyways, I didn't know Rick. Hadn't even heard of him actually until probably about 6 months or so ago. I heard some people talking about his illness, but so the best I can do is say condolences to his family and to his friends, and obviously he had quite a ham radio friendship and quite a career with it. Sounds like quite a fella. Anyways, +3 in Truro, raining hard, very windy. Just hope that the precipitation stops and the wind dries things up a little bit before the temperature plummets tonight. But anyways, we'll get what we get. Anyways, Bob, we'll turn it back to you. I'll let you get back to the net. Sounds like you're having a pretty good go-over tonight. So 7-3 to yourself and everybody on the net, and stay safe tomorrow. It's probably going to be icy. VE1 HUL, over.
VE1 HUL, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. You have a great night, and hear from you tomorrow if you're around. And another Dave, VE9 DWJ. Good evening, Dave. VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1 Delta Romeo and the Westcumb 2-meter Monday night net. VE9 DWJ. I guess like everybody else that's calling in, I considered Rick and Vivian to be two of my very best friends. In fact, it was Rick and Jerry that put on the course in the Amherst High School, and that's about 26 years ago when I took the ham radio course, and they helped me get my license. As I was setting up my equipment, we lived in a house, not where we are today, but it was a 2.5-story house, and it had this huge chimney on the top that went up 8 feet. And Rick said, "Oh, well, I'll help you put up your antenna." And so we got up on the roof and had everything organized, and Rick was looking over the chimney, and boys, he said, "I'll bet you'd get a good view from the top of that chimney." It had a flat spot on it. So I said, "No, don't you dare get up that chimney." I'm not much of a climber myself, but Rick sure was. Anyway, as luck would have it, we'd forgotten a wrench. So I said, oh, I'll go down and get the wrench. Crawled down the ladder and got to the bottom, looked up. Here was Rick, right on the top of that chimney, having a good look around. Anyway, that was Rick, and we're going to miss him. Condolences to all the family. Thanks for calling me in, Bob. You're doing a great job. VE1DR, VE9, DWJ.
VE9, DWJ, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Dave. Yes, that story sounds very typical of Rick. He was fearless, there's no doubt about that. And when Brad was telling us about the being up on the 240-foot tower in Lynn Mountain, I just can't imagine being up that high without being in an aircraft. You have a great night, Dave, and drop in and check with us in the morning. VE1 CD. Good evening, Trevor. VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1DR and the Westcumb net, VE1 CD. Good evening, Bob, and all those on frequency. And yes, condolences along to Rick's family. Used to be traveling along to work in the mornings and talk with him and Brad and whatnot. And Rick was always very supportive of me going to work, jokingly making sure his pension was topped up. So that was always a joke. And one thing I never did do was, in passing by, I never did put any toll money in the tin cup he'd hang off the fence that he always talked about. But anyway, he will be missed for sure. And we'll say 7-3. Hope everyone has a good week here. VE1DR, VE1CD.
VE1CD, VE1DR. Thank you, Trevor. You have a great day, a great night, and we'll hear from you in the morning, I hope. This is VE1 Delta Romeo. We are looking for a few more callers. We still got about 4 minutes in our allotted hour. Come now.
VE1 Zulu Sierra.
1 Sierra Bravo Romeo Portable.
VE1 Kilo Echo Victor.
Ready? Hold it with 3 here. I have Zulu Sierra, I have Sierra Bravo Romeo, and I have KEV. Tower of Power, Kevin. VE1 Zulu Sierra, VE1 Delta Romeo. Good evening, Al.
VE1 Delta Romeo on the Monday Night Net, VE1 ZS. Good evening, Bob. Good evening, all the people checked in tonight. Getting a fine remembrance there for Rick. We've enjoyed Rick's company for many, many years, and I can remember the original meeting of the formation of the club with Brad and Bruce Smith and Lee Nolan and Peter Hebb and all the other gangs, and it was a neat little group, and we never realized it would come to be this big. But we won't tie up the frequency any longer. We'll wish our condolences to all of Rick's family and friends, and we'll turn her back to you. VE1 Delta Romeo, 1ZS.
VE1ZS, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Al. Appreciate your check-in, and we'll have a chat in the morning at 7:15 as usual. VE1 SBR. Good evening, Stephen. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Good evening, sir. Family and I have the pleasure, unfortunately. Probably have to hear any more, unfortunately. So I just want to know how this portable's coming through and how things are going.
VE1 SPR, VE1 Delta Romeo. Unfortunately, Stephen, there's a lot of noise coming in. I could hear some audio in the background, but I was not able to pick up very much out of your narrative. You have a great night, and hopefully things will clear up in the morning. VE1 KEV. Good evening, Kevin. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Yeah, very good evening, Bob. V1 Delta Romeo for the Monday night Westcumb net. V1 KEV. Very good evening, and good evening to all on the net there tonight. And, certainly been enjoying the stories there that everyone is sharing. Rick certainly was a great fellow, that's for sure, and he will be sadly missed. That's also. I guess the thing that really comes to my mind is when he would issue the snuggle alerts there, Bob. It was a really cold night there, and as he was hosting the Monday night net, he would, if it was a really cold night, he would issue the snuggle alert, so he would let everybody know that, and that was always the time to snuggle in. Anyway, condolences for sure to his family and friends there, and we'll say 7-3 for sure, and thanks for doing the net, and thanks for the eulogy as well. It was really nice as well, Bob. 7-3, V1 Delta Romeo, V1 KEV.
V1 KEV, V1 Delta Romeo. Thank you for the check-in there, Kevin, and you have a great night. No, we are almost out of time. We are out of time, but I'll issue another general call. This is VE1 Delta Romeo, Bob, in Pugwash Junction on the Monday night net. We're looking for a couple more calls.
Victor Echo 1, BIC.
Victor Echo 1, Mike Yankee.
Victor Yankee 2, Juliet Charlie.
Alrighty, this might be the last three on my list here. VE1 BIC. Good evening, sir. VE1 Delta Romeo.
VE1 Delta Romeo and all still on frequency. Yeah, it's Ron here in Amherst, VE1 BIC. I was trying to get in for the last 10 minutes on my portable, but I guess it doesn't have enough power. Reason I was on the portable, I fell yesterday and broke my ankle, so I was down in the kitchen with the portable and couldn't get into the repeater, so I had to get on the crutches and get up to the third floor where my bigger radio is, the 7250. Anyway, we are sad to know that Rick is gone, but I can remember when my kids were little back in the 90s, they're almost 30 now, they used to, once in a while, when I was on the Monday Night Net, I would check in with Rick, and the boys would always say hi to Rick, so he really got a kick out of talking to Adam and Andrew back in the 90s when they were just little kids, I think, before they even went to elementary school. Anyway, yeah, we'll sure miss them. The other thing, Rob RMJ, if you're listening, if you have a list of the participants, the last Zoom meeting, if you could email that to me. I didn't get to see the recording, and I have no record of how many people checked. It's 22, I think, but if you knew their call signs, if you could let me know by email, I'd appreciate that. I'm trying to get the minutes done for tomorrow night's meeting. That's all I have from here, Bob. Back to you, V1DR.
VE1 BIC, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you. I appreciate the check-in, Ron. I'm very sorry to hear about the broken ankle. That's a tough break. Oh, well, literally a tough break. And I wish you a speedy recovery. VE1 MY, Mike. Good evening, sir. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Yeah, good evening, Bob. I know how Ron feels. I sprained my ankle 3 weeks ago, and I'm still out. Anyway, I'm just going to say condolences. I got too many memories of Rick, and he's gone but not forgotten. VE1MY.
VE1MY, VE1 Delta Romeo. I don't think he'll be ever forgotten. There's no doubt about it. There's too many good feelings about him, and that's appropriate. Best 73, Mike, and BY2JC, Joe, VE1 Delta Romeo. Go ahead.
Yeah, V1 Delta Romeo, and I almost said to wake me up net, and the West Cumberland net here. Good evening to everybody on the frequency there. Condolences to Rick and his family there. I knew him. I met him a couple times, but that was about it. I guess when you live over here, you miss it quite a bit. But anyway, he sounds like he was a pretty good guy there, and I'm sure he was. I don't have anything else to say other than VE1 WX is in there trying to check in. I think I heard him 2 or 3 times. Derek there, if you want to make him, you want to call him in, that's entirely up to yourself, sir. Anyway, thanks for doing the net, and thanks for calling us in. Good evening to everyone. BY2, Juliet Charlie Western, end of the snowy, gentle island.
BY2JC, VE1 Delta Romeo. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate your check-in and appreciate the heads up on WX. I'll give him a call now. You have a great night, and we'll hear from you in the morning, I guess. You'll probably be on the road again. VE1 Whiskey X-Ray. Good evening, Derek. VE1 Delta Romeo.
WNDR in the Westcumb Internet, Monday Night Net. Very good evening, Bob. Thank you, Joe, and appreciate it. I know you want to run there, Bob, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible. We have 3 degrees in Kentville and fog right at the moment, so we've come to a rain standstill, and I think we may get some flurries into the overnight hours tomorrow. So we echo our condolences as well to Rick's friends and family there, and sadly missed for sure. It's always sad to hear of Silent Key, but very many fond memories from many amateurs across the entire Maritimes. They're really good to hear the reflections tonight during the net, and we too will call it the Rick Net for Monday. But I do remember Kevin touched on my fondest memory of Rick's as well there when we got cold weather. There was always we always enjoyed hearing the snuggle alert announced from the Ricknet, so really miss that. 73 Bob, and we'll see you in the morning. VE1DR and 732 all on frequency. Stay safe. VE1WX.
VE1WX, VE1 Delta Romeo. Yes, I do recall, and I meant to mention it earlier when Kevin brought it up, the snuggle alert that he used to issue on those bitter cold nights. He was a wonderful guy, no doubt about it. Thank you, Derek, and one day you and I will discuss that breakfast burrito, the virtual, that is, and there may be a legal action there, not sure. That's 73, Derek. We are out of time, and I'm going to declare the net closed for this evening. I would like to thank everyone who checked in to the net this evening, and thanks to the owners and maintainers who keep the system up and running. This gives us an hour on Monday evenings to conduct the Westcumb net, and also on this particular evening to honor departed member. Rick Sullivan has left the arena, but we won't forget him. I shall return in 30 seconds to begin downlinking the repeaters. Thank you all. Good night.
VE1DR, VE1DR, VE9VEA, over.
VE9 DEA, go ahead. VE1 Delta Romeo.
Curious, Bob, how many did you have there tonight, over?
34, 3-4 tonight.
No, thanks a million, Bob. Thanks, bye-bye.
This is VE1 Delta Romeo. We are downlinking Parsville.